If you look at sterling since last November, I think pretty well every major move that you've seen both on a daily and an hourly basis has been connected in one form or another to Brexit, whether that is the extension of Article 50, political uncertainty, or whether the Prime Minister's deal with the EU is going to go through. And right now you have all three of those things in play. I think that you certainly going to see over the course of the next week or so more volatility starting to emerge, and it will not just be in sterling and in related markets, but you're likely to see it spread out somewhat as well. Certainly noticeable in the last few days that the risk-on, risk-off sentiment in a wide range of markets seems to have related back to sterling in one form or another.
Simon, I've heard people refer to UK lawmakers right now as wanting to have their cake and eat it too with regard to Brexit. To which I responded, they don't even know if they want cake. So what is it about the markets right now? What exactly are they expecting? I mean, do they know what exactly the outcome will be, and what exactly can we expect to see in the markets, given that they don't even know what they want out of Brexit themselves?
So I think you're hitting on the absolute central point here. There's lots of people making forecasts about where this is going to be in a month's time or 2 months' time and how the negotiations are going out. The reality is that most people are struggling to see where we're going to be in 24 hours' time. And I think what happened on Tuesday and what happened on Wednesday made the point of not trying to make too broad a generalisation. Look, I think the only thing you can reasonably say right now is that we have a fragile government, that we have seen a rejection so far of the withdrawal deal. And I think that probably what we're going to see tonight is a move towards a motion, voting through a motion that next week we will have another vote on that withdrawal deal. And if that does go through, and there are some signs that some of the hardliners are starting to maybe move towards it because they don't like the other alternatives, then maybe that gets through and maybe we have a short extension. But here's the key bit. If we don't, then there's a possibility the UK government goes to the EU and asks for a long extension, which would include the UK sending people to EU elections. And there is a perfectly reasonable chance that the EU just goes, no, you can't have that. In which case, it's entirely possible we could be back to no deal. So anybody saying there's a clear path here is absolutely not the case right now. It's possible we can get that deal through next week, but who knows?
Simon, we now have Steve Sedgwick's line back up on here. So, Steve, I want to bring you into this discussion. Simon mentioned that he feels that the government is fragile right now and that there is no clear path. So what exactly are we going to expect out of this? We know that there's an EU summit coming up shortly. We know that the UK wants to possibly delay the Brexit. What exactly can we expect the negotiations to be like between the EU and the UK if they cannot come to some kind of an agreement before this deadline comes to pass?
Yeah. Dom, I've listened to Simon talk for many years, and he's absolutely spot on this one. I couldn't agree more with what he's saying. But there are many paths. But the most optimistic path forward for those who want this not to go too far is that MV3, Meaningful Vote 3, comes to the table next week. And as Simon says, some of the harder-line Brexiteers and the DUP from Northern Ireland, they get behind it as well. If not, then as Simon says, we have to go back to the Europeans and say, this is what we're going to do. The Europeans will not give an extension if we're just going to argue for another 6 months in Parliament here and not come up with an indicative solution of the way forward. As we know, parliamentarians here in Westminster are very good at saying what they don't want. The Europeans will only come back to the table or give an extension if they say what they do want. Will that be a customs union, which is a soft Brexit? Will it be a Norway Plus, which is a soft Brexit? Will it be, as Simon says, a second referendum or a general election, which could lead to a soft Brexit or potentially no Brexit at all? The Europeans will want something concrete on the table because they, like the British, do not want to see this dominating European affairs for the next 2, 3, 4 years as well, because they've got their own crises to deal with. They've got problems still in southern Europe, problems in Italy, problems with the Visegrad group for the likes of the Hungarians as well. So this is one issue they don't want to go on, and they don't want the British in the European parliamentary elections in May.
All right, Simon, just a few moments here left. Last word to you. What is the Bank of England and Governor Mark Carney thinking about all of this right now?
they must be scratching their heads. I think that's the simple answer. But I think they are prepared that if we have something that results in great volatility in markets, they'll know they need to repeat what they did in June 2016.